Hello, Namaskar. So, with this lecture, we will start our second chapter of mathematics, which is inverse trigonometric functions. So, before we begin and go into deep, we will first see, as usual, the introduction part where we will discuss some basic background and also review that what we have studied in class 11th corresponding to this topic, right? So, the very first thing which comes when we are talking about inverse trigonometric functions, that what is trigonometric functions. So, that already we have studied in our previous lecture. So trigonometry is made up of two words, which is trigon and metron, which literally means which is from Greek word, which means is that measuring the sides of triangle, right? So it is primarily used to solve the problems related to geometry, but now it has a much broader use in every part. Either you're talking about physics or many engineering lines. Without this you cannot solve complicated problems and that geometry related questions there, and lots of things are happening with the help of these. So this is going to be a very important topic like trigonometric function, and then inverse trigonometric function we'll see later once we are proceeding further. So before that, let's begin and let's see about first that what is trigonometric functions, what we know from our previous study, and then we'll go next topic where we'll see some basic concepts. So let's begin. So when we are talking about trigonometric functions, so we talk always as we have seen in our previous lecture, that the best way to understand is just to draw a circle, unit radius circle. So let's say this is your axis, x dash, y, let's say it's the y dash, right? Now you can draw a unit circle around this. Let's say this is your center and this radii is 1, right? So this radii is equal to 1 unit. Okay, so let's say this is some point P, and here it have at x-axis it is A, and here it is let's say B, and this is your center. Okay, so let's say if this is your angle theta from x-axis, right? So this curve will have that. Okay, so you can write, if this is unit circle, so this would be what? This would be cos theta, because r is equal to 1, and this can be your, let's say this one, and this one it can be your sin theta, right, if it is r is equal to 1. So now from the Pythagoras premise, you know that if I need to write OP square, it would be OA square plus AP square. Okay, so OP square is anyway it is your 1, and then OA square is equal to this one, cos square theta plus sin square theta, right? So this is a very nice interesting property about the trigonometry, which mostly we use and we know from our previous studies. Also no, the whole angle here it is of 360 degree, and in radians it is written as 2 pi, so 2 pi radians is equal to 360 degree, that we know, right? So if you turn 1 degree is equal to how much? It would be 2 pi by 360 radians. So that's a very important formula to convert from degree to radian that you have studied. Other things you can divide it into 4 quadrants, right? One quadrant, this is 2, and this is 3, and this is as 4, okay, that you know, and you see that each are having the 90 degrees. Now pi by 2, that 260 divided into 4 equal groups, so that angle, so this angle would be pi by 2 here. Okay, so if pi by 2, so that is also we call it quadrantal angle, pi by 2. And also you would see that some properties which you may like to see. For example, let me make a division here, and let's see that what all important point we can see about let's say it is about sin theta, and this is about cos theta. And let me make some pre-made column, so we'll have all the space which we just have to fill. All right, so let's say what would be the sign 0? Sign 0. So what is the meaning of sign 0? Sign 0 means here this one, sign 0 degree is this one, right? So if it is 0, then this, it would be equal to what? It would be equal to 0, right? This value, because this will not exist if theta is equal to 0, so it will be equal to 0. That is the easiest way to remember as well. And if we talk about cos theta, so cos 0, so cos 0 means this, it is already there, right? Whether if it is 0, then it is exactly equal to the unit radius, so it will be 1. Similarly, you talk about sine pi by 2, so it is sine pi by 2 here, so it is exactly, if we talk pi by 2, then here y axis is equal to 1. So let me give coordinate points for these. So this point would be your 1 0, this would be your 0 1, this would be your minus 1 0, and this would be your minus 1 0 minus 1, right? This is the coordinate for all these 4 points. So similarly, when I talk about pi, so pi, it comes here, right? So it have a if I first let's say sin pi by 2 is equal to 1, and similarly cos pi by 2 is equal to here, so cos component is 0 here, so it will be equal to 0. Let's start about sin pi here, so sin pi is again become 0 here, and if you take cos pi, so cos pi here, so it is full minus 1, so it will have minus 1. Let's talk about sin 3 pi by 2, so here you come here, right? So sin 3 pi by 2 means this part, right? So sin 3 pi by 2, you are having this much angle, and you are coming here, so sine value means it will be having equal total, so it will have minus 1. And if you talk cos 3 by pi by 2, so here cos component is 0, right? This part is reduced to 0, so it will be equal to 0. Now coming back to sine 2 pi, so sine 2 pi, again you are back here. So when you are talking about sine 2 pi, so sine component becomes 0 here again, so you will have a 0. And similarly cos 2 pi would be what? Cos 2 pi will be the complete full set here, again 1. So this is a very important that you don't have to remember, you just physically draw, and you can easily remember these points, that what are the values for different parts considering the unit circle. So in a formula form, if I need to write, so how will I write? I will write as that for sine part I can write sine 2 n pi plus x is equal to sine x for every n element of z. Z means integer, right? Integer. If there is any n which is integer, so the integer multiple of twice pi, and plus will always give you the same value what it will give for n. So for example, you can see sin x is equal to 0 for, you can say 0 plus minus, and sin is equal to 0 for plus minus pi plus minus 2 pi, something like that. And the even integer would be equal to the same value. Similarly, if you talk about cos pi, so you can write cos 2n pi plus x is equal to cos x for every n element of z. So if you want to find, let's say cos 0, cos x will be what? It would be 0 for all odd multiple of pi. pi by 2. So for example, if you are taking plus minus pi by 2 plus minus 3 pi by 2 and so on. So these are value for cos is equal to 0. For odd multiples of pi by 2 it is going to give me 0, and for all for sine case, if for all integer multiples of pi is going to give you the value of 0. So this is another interesting point about it, which you can see from these observations. So it is 0 here, 0 here, 0 here, 0 here, and the value matches here. For example, you talk about this, and similarly here this. So that's a very interesting observation and very good formula related to that. Now let's see about the other trigonometric function which we know. So other trigonometric functions are like what all we know. So for example, we know cosec x, which is written as 1 upon inverse 1 upon sine x. Then we have sec x, that can be written as 1 upon cos x. Of course, that cos x value should not be 0. It means that x should not be odd multiple of pi by 2 for every n element of z, is the integer value. Then you have tan x defined as sin x upon cos x, and cos x again should not be equal to integer odd multiples of pi by 2. So x is not equal to 2n plus 1 pi by 2 for every n element of z. That is condition, otherwise it is not defined for that. We have also cot x, you know, it is defined as 1 upon tan x is equal to, you can write it as cos x beta sin x. So here sin x is below, so it should not have a 0 value, because for that it is not defined. It means that x should not be an integral multiple of pi, where n is element of z again. So talking about these, and we can draw some typical frequent used value which we will see, and that we can make a table for that. So let me make it for you, and it is easier because once we are moving further we may need all these equations. We frequently use, not here only, you talk about physics, engineering, wherever you go, these equations are going to be with you for long. So let's say we have sine theta, the main components, you know, and others you can see that they are derived from the sine, cos and tan. So then you can have the angles. So let me fill this. So let's say it is for 0, this is pi by 6, this is pi by 4, this is pi by 3, let's say this is pi by 2, then you have pi, then 3 pi by 2, and then 2 pi, right? So these are the some very frequent huge angle you would find. And let's say this is for sine, this is for cos, and this is for cos, and this is for tan. So sine 0, sine pi by 6, sine pi by 4, like that. So you can have sine 0 is equal to 0, sine pi by 6 you would have 1 by 2, pi by 4 would have 1 by root 2, pi by 3 would have 3 root 3 by 2, pi by 2 would again have 1, pi is equal to have 0, sine 3 pi by 2 would be minus 1, and sine 2 pi is equal to 0. Similarly, cos 0 is equal to 1, cos pi by 6 is equal to root 3 by 2, cos pi by 4 is again root 2, 1 by root 2, and cos pi by 3 is 1 by 2, cos pi by 2 is 0, cos pi is equal to minus 1, cos 3 pi by 2 is equal to 0, and cos 2 pi is equal to 1. So, and tan, of course, it is a ratio of these two, so you can easily make it. So it will be, of course, 0. This would be what? This would be obviously 1 upon root 3, and this would be what? This would be a ratio cut here. It would be root 3. Here it would be 1. The bottom is 0, right? So it is not defined. and then here you should have again 0. Again here bottom sine beta cos 0, it is not defined, so not defined, and here 0 by 1 is equal to 0. So this is easily made, and this is the very typical and very easy to remember. You can have this. Now moving further, let's see, we have that let's say you want to calculate that what would be the value of cos of minus x, right? Or let's say you want to know what is the value of sine of minus x, right? So let's again come back to our this geometry, which is makes it much easier to remember and find out the value. So this is x, this is x dash, this is y, this is y dash, right? And let's make our unit circle here, unit radius, and this is your point P as we just saw, and this is your line joining here. This is your this is A and this is B, okay? And you have this angle, right? And this angle is, let's say, x. All right. So I want to find for minus x, so I will draw a value here. So let's say this is your point AB, and then this point would be what? This would be A and minus B. Okay. And this is again unit r is equal to 1, so unit circle, unit radius circle. And if I take a minus x, so cos minus x would be what? So cos minus x is equal to here it will be remaining the same here, okay? So it means that it would be equal to cos x. And if we talk about cos minus x, so in this angle this is reverse, so the sign change, b to minus b, so it becomes minus sine x, right? So in cos case, this minus of x doesn't change the value, but in case of sine it changes the value because the coordinate part change. So in terms of if talk about this trigonometric function sine in different quadrants, we talk just for example quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4, you go anti-clockwise, right, like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can make your own for different function that what would be the sign if you are replacing x from minus x, then how they are going to change. So you can have let's say let's have a look for the 4 quadrants. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's say this is your first quadrant, this is your second, this is your third, and this is your fourth, right? And let's one by one. So we have sine x, cos x, tan x, cosec, sec, and cot, right? All are derived from each other. So let me write the value here. So this is for, let's say, sine x. If you place with the minus, how the sign is going to change. Cos x, tan x, cosec x, sec x, cot x. So first sign for coordinate, obviously it is going to be positive, second positive, third negative, fourth negative. Let's see how it is going to be such. So you see in this case, first coordinate it if it returns here, in second coordinate if you are coming here, then the sign value is not going to change because this is still the upward direction. In third coordinate it is x is now negative, and in the fourth coordinate again this coordinate it is going down, so it is again negative. Similarly for cos, it is going to be positive here in this case, plus positive x direction, so it would be positive. In this case here it becomes negative. Third quadrant you talk about, this is your third quadrant, so it remains negative, and then in the fourth one it again comes here, right, this, so it is positive. So similarly that this is the ratio, so this will follow the combination of 2 plus, this will be minus, this would be plus, and this would be minus easily. Sine cosec x if you talk, so you can write this is the inverse of sine, so it will follow the inverse of it, so it will be plus, plus, minus, minus. Similarly for sec, which is 1 upon cos, so it will follow this plus, minus, and this would be minus, plus, and then cot, which is the inverse of tan, so plus, minus, plus, minus, right? So that's very easy. Now you have that how the sign will change in the different quadrants. Now talking about the trigonometric function domain and range. So if you see that, if you write y is equal to sin x, or you write y is equal to cos x, so these functions are what we are calling it a trigonometric function, and the values can lie from from -1 less than or equal to sin x, less than or equal to +1. Similarly for cos case, less than or equal to cos x, less than or equal to +1. So if you talk about domain of y is equal to sin x or cos x, the function whichever you take, it can be all real number, right? All real numbers. And if you talk about range, the range should vary in a unit, right? So it would be -1 to 1. So that's very important. So it is this function y is equal to sin x is defined such that x can be all real numbers, any real numbers, and y would be always in the range of -1 to 1. Okay, so -1 less than or equal to y is less than or equal to 1. So that's a very interesting point to note in this case, and that we'll be using in this point in when we are discussing about inverse trigonometric functions. Let's have some more frequent use properties of trigonometric functions, and then we'll end this chapter and move to next discussion in the next lecture. So let's have some very important properties. So what is that? So one so let's say what are these. So it is the first, as we just saw about radian. So radian is 2 pi by 360 degrees. Okay, and now what other things we saw? Sin square x plus cos square x is equal to 1. There are some other properties which I'm not going to prove, and so you are supposed to revise your class 11 trigonometric function chapter if you like to revise these concepts, and but of course you should remember the formulas, which are very simple, as I showed you how to find it. So you can have something like that. So for example, 1 plus cot square x is equal to cosec square x. The other functions are we just saw that cos of 2 pi n plus x is equal to cos x, sin of 2 pi n plus x is equal to sin x, sin of minus x is equal to minus sin of x, cos of minus x is equal to cos x, cos of x plus y is equal to cos x cos y, minus sin x sin y. Similarly, if you take cos x minus y, then this symbol changes, the other remains same. So cos x cos y plus sin x sin y, right? And then a similar thing you can follow, for example, for cos pi by 2 minus x, that you can write as sin x, and sin pi by 2 minus x is equal to cos x. That's again an important property, sometimes we need it. The other things now the similar like cos we can have for sin. So for sin it is sin x plus y. Let's say if you want to expand, so you can write sin x cos y plus cos x sin y. Similarly for sin x minus y, it would be sin x cos y minus cos x sin y. We can have then cos pi by 2 plus x is equal to minus sin x. Then other thing you can cos sin pi by 2 plus x is equal to cos x, right? And about tan x, similarly we can have tan x plus y. Let's say tan x plus y, then we can have tan x plus tan y divided by 1 plus 1 minus 1 minus tan x tan y, right? Similarly, you can write for tan x minus y, which can be written as tan x minus tan y upon 1 plus tan x tan y. Further you can write if x, y and x plus minus y is not multiple of pi, because if it is coming at bottom, so it should not be coming at 0, so multiple of pi, then what we can write about cot x plus y is equal to cot x cot y minus 1 upon cot y plus cot x, right? Similarly, for cot x minus y, you can write cot x cot y minus minus, it becomes plus here, and then here it is having cot y minus cot x. So there are a very good symmetry, it is easier to remember. One more important here you can have about cos 2x, that can be written as cos square x minus sin square x. It can also be written as 2 cos square x minus 1. It can further written as 1 minus 2 sin square x, or in form of tan 1 minus tan square x upon 1 plus tan square x. Another important property about sin x is sin 2x is equal to again 2 sin x cos x, or you can write it as in the form of tan 2 tan x upon 1 plus tan square x. So similarly we can have 3x 4x and so on. So this is some functions and properties, which you should remember, because these are very frequently used, either talk about physics, mathematics, or wherever we talk about, wherever you go in engineering or all. So these are going to be very important formulas and very easy to remember. There are lots of symmetry, and that unit circle concept makes it much easier to remember. So this is all I wanted to show you, and we need to revise from our previous, you might have studied in our class 11 mathematics, this trigonometric functions chapter. So now once we proceed further and we'll discuss these important formula, maybe you utilize there, and then we will see more better understanding related to that. So this is all about this introduction part. We'll end here for the introduction part, and we'll again see in the next lecture where we'll discuss about basic concepts related to inverse trigonometric functions. So see you there. Thank you.